Hi, everybody. This is Yafa Luria, and I wanted to talk about going back to school and what that looks like. I'm not only working as a coach, but I am also a part-time crisis counselor in a high school, very part-time. Um, and so I'm seeing a lot of patterns, and I want to let you know what is a common pattern, what's a common behavior, um, how to handle it, what's an uncommon behavior, how to handle it. First of all, after being in quarantine, even if they went back to school in the spring there was a reduced population of kids. Coming back now, it's packed. It just feels packed. I don't know that it's that different really, but it feels like, to me, it felt like just walking through the school, it feels like a bunch of giants all around me. I'm pretty short, but I've gotten used to that over the years, that high school students are generally taller than I am. But this is like, I feel like everybody's like, where is she? I hear a voice, but where's the person? So the experience of being in a crowd, even if it's in a familiar setting, is super different. So that's something to be aware of. It's not a situation of, what's the big deal? This is your school. You've been here before. If that's the case, this is like a new experience for everybody. Now, some of your kids they're not affected by this, but a lot of your kids are affected by this. And because there's a crowd, that means that there's lots of noise coming in and lots of information coming in. And it's an advanced executive function to know how to filter out, not to filter out noise, but to filter out information that isn't important and retain information that is. That level of discernment is a pretty advanced executive function. Your kids can tune out sounds, many of them, because they can tune you out. But that's not necessarily that's not an executive function skill, to just like ignore people. So they don't have that level of competence yet. So they're going to be tired. I have kids that come in at lunch just to sit and eat lunch because they're just worn out. I have kids coming in crying, like sobbing, because of something someone else did in their classroom, or because of being in a classroom, or because some of them are they're absorbing concerns from some parents as far as how will this affect your future. And I just want to remind everybody, this is an unprecedented event, and it's not, hopefully, likely to come again. I've never experienced a global pandemic in my 60 plus years of living, and it's scary. It's like something out of a science fiction movie that virtually the whole world was susceptible to a virus that could kill you. That's super scary. So the idea that they also have a level of competency to achieve is also scary, and will feel almost like, I don't know, like kind of like tragic in a way. My clients, not all of them, some of them were already doing like online schools or homeschools, and it was easier for them. But a lot of my clients were in school or college, and they were out of the house, and they've forgotten, some have forgotten how to study, some have forgotten sort of what school is about in a way. Not that it's about learning, they haven't forgotten that, but the feeling that somebody with ADHD, for instance, might get looking at a piece of work that they need to do that they don't understand can feel overwhelming, to the point of feeling that tragic thing of, it's hard to explain, feeling that this is a burden, a serious burden that they are not capable of carrying. So, and it's a much heavier feeling than they might usually get, as far as feeling like they can't do something. I have lots of kids who are saying, well, this sucks, I can't do this, F this, F that. And, I'm changing the script for them, not saying, so-and-so, not wagging a finger at them, but more like, okay, let's just turn that around. That's not going to help you at all. So, and this is something I can do because they know I've been through this exact same thing. They know I've been through it probably as many times as they have. And they know I've gotten through it. So this time requires quite a lot of TLC. And that's really important. Tender loving care, for those who haven't heard the phrase TLC, some people around the world. So those of you that got or have had access to the do's and don'ts for parenting a neurotypical kid with a big heart and a noisy brain, follow that. Don't, if you're gonna just throw it out or be like, no, I shouldn't have to do all this, you're wrong. It's really important to do all this. And you will see changes more quickly if you are willing to do those things on the do's and don'ts chart. If you're going to leave change up to your kids, that's a recipe for failure, partly because you, as the leaders of the family, are the agents of change in the family. You're the one that decides what is implemented and what is rejected and what is, well, we did that and we're that doesn't pertain to us anymore, that sort of thing. Kids don't usually have that power in a family. So they also don't have the power to make changes in themselves without support, guidance, encouragement, love, patience, all those things. So the last thing I want to let you know is that just the sort of, it's kind of extreme, but I wouldn't want you to think that can't happen to my kid, because that's not a safe assumption, I would say. As much as we hate to think that our child is in enough pain to harm themselves, it's really important to have some, especially with your teenagers, to have some sort of conversation. Like, has anything been bothering you? Have you been thinking about, you know, doing anything that might hurt you or hurt someone else? This kind of openness, instead of running away from it, this kind of openness is important because you want your child alive, and I want your child alive. I never assume that life is a given. And having ADHD, not just me, but lots of other people, and the way that ADHD is seen in the world and misunderstood in the world by a lot of people, including some experts, it stigmatizes your kids. And so your kids have ADHD. Everybody's kind of recovering slowly from a pandemic, and they're stigmatized. That, and they might be teenagers. So it's like, I mean, all the kids, or most of the kids, are going through challenges. Kids with ADHD, most are going through more challenges. Kids who are teenagers with ADHD may be going through even more challenges. Now, for kids who are younger, you don't want to get too graphic, ask them how they're doing. And especially if they come to you and say things like, my brain is broken, which I hear a lot, I'm worthless, I can't do anything, I'm a loser, I'm a failure. No, you're not is not going to be helpful. You want to, so if you're focused, if they're saying they're a loser, they're a failure, etc., and you're focused on achievement, pull back on your sort of need for them to achieve. They're going to be fine. We're all experiencing a pandemic, and there are lots of accommodations in place. And what your kids need most from you is not sort of a lecture or a reminder or a nagging, whatever you want to call it, about what they're not doing, but more a reminder and a congratulations and I appreciate you and I love you about what they are doing. It's really important that you switch that script, because so many kids, whether they have ADHD or not, are feeling beside themselves with anxiety and confusion and feeling like they don't know what direction to go in. So pull back on all the fears you have, because development is always progressive. It always moves forward unless there's a trauma. And a trauma is a sudden change. And a sudden change can change the way somebody interacts with the world. But trauma is not super common. What's more common is just a regular, progressive, developmental experience of learning and maturing. Your kid is a late bloomer, not a non-bloomer. So give them whatever space they need so that they can address and get help for the overwhelming emotions that they may be experiencing. Um, you know, I read something yesterday. Somebody said something about, well, all teenagers rebel. And it's like, okay, not exactly, but um, kids that kids that are merely trying to please you parents, or sort of be an achiever for you, make you proud, all of those sorts of things, like get approval from you, will break at some point. It may be in adolescence, or it may be in college, or it may be when they're 30 or 35 or 40. Trying to get a parent's approval is what kids desperately want. And it's really hard to prove themselves to you. So just give them your approval, your acceptance, your love, your patience, your understanding, your encouragement, your guidance. Give them the help they need as far as their mental health, their physical health. If they need help with ADHD, you can use the things that I'm sending out, or you can find out about coaching, or, just, I have a book out. It's on Amazon, Parenting Tips for Raising ADHD Children. It's by Yafa Luria, so you'll find it that way. There are ways that you can learn what I'm talking about, which is not what all ADHD experts talk about. But those that don't talk about it are missing a huge point. All right, you guys. I hope that you feel that I have addressed some of your concerns. And I also hope that you will be able to take a next step, whatever that next step is. Maybe it's a hug for your kid. Maybe it's buying my book. Maybe it's taking them for ice cream. Maybe it's going to family therapy, family counseling. Maybe it's marriage counseling. There are so many unique aspects to your family, and so many unique strategies and solutions that could work for your family. It's really worth sort of modeling a hopeful point of view and it's okay to ask for help point of view. Okay, everybody. So happy ADHD Awareness Month. It is October 6th right now, and you can find out more about me and about coaching at blockedtobrilliant.com, and you can schedule a free chat by going to the page. It's a contact page, so it's blockedtobrilliant.com/contact, or it shows up on the Block to Brilliant website menu as schedule your appointment. All right, everybody. If you have questions, email me, coach@blockedtobrilliant.com, or stick them below on YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube. And I think that's it. All right, take care, everybody. Bye.